I'll try not to make a long story out of this, but I was in the Navy, and I was in the medical corps, and when I got out of the Navy, I worked for the park department in my hometown in Ohio, and I wanted to go to Ohio State and study physical therapy. And so I was working in the park department, and the other people and the guys that work in the park, they said, when you go to Ohio State, run across Ernie Biggs, and he is the athletic trainer there, and maybe he'll give you a job. And I thought, I grew up as a kid, and Ohio State was the ultimate, and I couldn't imagine getting a job with them. But anyway, I did go into the training room one day, and they were taping, and I told them I wanted to talk to Ernie Biggs, and they said, well, he's busy right now. Can you stand aside until he's through? So I did, until they stopped taping, and then Ernie came over and took me into his office, and he says, what can I do for you? And I says, well, I don't know anything about it, but I says I was in the medical corps in the Navy, and I think I'd like to become an athletic trainer. And so he asked me some questions and what I did in the Navy and so forth. And he said, this was on a Thursday, and he says, well, why don't you come in Monday and go to work? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I walked out of there, I thought, God, I'm going to be a student trainer for the Ohio State athletic team. Kramer at that time had a job placement, so I got a hold of Kramer and told him that I'd like a job in California, and I'd like a full-time job as a head trainer in a 4-year school. Later they called me and said, we think we found a job for you. And I said, where's that? And they said, Sacramento. I says, where's Sacramento? So they told me, and so they sent the president to Chicago from Sac State, was coming out there on business, so they said, do you mind if he interviews? I says, no. I thought that sounded pretty good, getting interviewed by the president of the college. So he come out and interviewed me, and and I said, now is this for a head training job? He says, well, you can call it whatever you want, we only have one. So that's, and I got the job. So that's how I moved to California and the Sac State, and like I say, they just were so good to me, to the point where I absolutely loved the job. I was there for 9 years, I guess, and a lot of high school athletes used to come out there to get treatment, and the coaches loved it because it was a good recruiting tool, but the college frowned on it because of liability. So I had a dream one night about opening up a sports medicine clinic and treat the athletes in town that didn't have the services of a trainer and so forth. I had some good friends, well, one especially, one of the team physicians at Sac State was an orthopedist, great man. And so the next day I told him about the dream I had. And he says, I'm telling you right now, I'll loan you $10,000 whenever you're ready to start. So from there, I ended up taking over somebody's practice, physical therapy practice, and turned it into a sports medicine practice. First one in the United States. And I had tenure at the college. And my wife said, why would you leave a lifetime job to go into something that's never been done before? And I said, well, if it doesn't work, then I can still be a trainer. Well, it worked. It took off almost immediately when the word got around. So it was just fantastic. You can't be in it just for the money. You gotta treat people right, which we did. And if somebody would come to the clinic and want treatment and they had no insurance or no way of paying, we'd take them anyway because we'd find out some way to treat them, even though they couldn't pay. Well, that word got around pretty quick. And so it just helped build up our patients, and got to the point that we didn't have room in the clinic to take care of everybody. So then I ended up opening another clinic, and then we had another, and at one time we had 3 clinics. And all of them were busy, not just with athletes, but athletes were a good part of the business. And so there again, I was stupid at the start, but you learn what works and what doesn't work, and it worked.